all of you have been going through PubMed. You've seen PubMed yesterday. Now today also we had a class on PubMed. And so no, now you're aware that what is the importance of these so many references that you need to go through. So that is what we'll be talking about. Once you have collected your references, how do you manage them? So over time, you will realize that as many projects you keep on doing, you will have a number of references that you need to put in. You have to arrange them and keep it properly. And of course, then also cite them in the documents that you're using and writing so that they become useful. So what we'll be talking about today is bibliography software. What is bibliography? What are the different softwares which are available? And then I will go through and I will take you on a journey on how to use EndNote and also some of the free softwares that which are available like Zotero and Mendeley. So coming on to first, yeah. So what is a citation? So first of all, let us see what do we mean by citation. Citation is nothing, is just, it tells you about the quoting, that how it is quoted by way of example. So basically we want to have a proof of something, that we are citing that source and we say that this has come from this source. And in one of the dictionaries from Cambridge, it is used to denote the speak or write words taken from a particular writer or a written word. So basically citation is very important because you want to document that where this has come from and what are you trying when you are trying to say something. So why do we need it? Basically, we want to tell the reader that where has this information come from, and also the authenticity of that information that you are providing. How do you cite it? You can do it on the footnotes. Footnotes, as the name says, is at the bottom of the page, or you can use it as endnotes that we commonly do in the form of references at the end of each article. And these, as the name suggests, these are at the end of the document, that is endnotes. So what are the different systems of citation? You must have gone through the Vancouver system, in which most of the articles that you read today have the Vancouver system, in which the citations appear as either bracketed numbers or non-bracketed numbers or both, superscript or not superscripted numbers that we commonly see in today's articles. The referencing method that was earlier used, and you will see it in some of the books also still, is the Harvard referencing, where you have the in-text citations. So these are known as the in-text citations, where you write the author's name, the year of publication, or the page, depending upon the article or the book or its what are its instructions. So accordingly, you have the citations which are in text. So these type of citations which are in text may not require an end section, that is an end note. So these are the two basic systems in which you have the citations which are divided. The other thing which you commonly get confused is what is the difference between references and bibliography. What do you write at the end of the article? Do you write it as references, or whether you want to write it as bibliography? So what is the difference? So reference basically is a list which contains only sources which are cited in text. Like for example, as I said earlier, you write a number and give it a superscript. That is a reference list. Bibliography is basically a list of all sources that you have consulted, which may have been cited in text or which may not have been cited in text, so that they also include any other resource that is referred to or read about. So bibliography is basically a wider thing, and references is just the list which you have cited in text. So this is a difference between references and bibliography. Coming on to the way that you identify these citations is important to understand. One is for books, you have the ISBN number. So every book which comes has an ISBN number, that is an international standard book number. So even if you do not know the title of a book, if you just know the ISBN number, you can locate it. Similarly, for something which is a serial publication, like we have our magazines, we have our journals, all have a number which is known as a ISSN number. What is an ISSN number? It is basically an international standard serial number. That is serially, it is given to that magazine. So every ISN number is unique for that journal. Now, because you have a lot of journals which are e-journals and also print journals, so you have two types of ISSNs. for the same journal, that is a e-ISSN and a print ISSN. So for example, a journal which we as pathologists commonly see is a histopathology journal. So it is online version, ISSN number will be like this, and it is an 8-digit number. So all ISSN numbers are 8-digit. So even if you do not know the name of the journal properly, you know the ISSN number, or you are able to locate that number, then you will be able to search that journal. The other thing you may see across, I'm just quoting it here, is the SICI number, which is no longer used so often. But just to make you aware, is basically it is a serial item and contributor identifier where it has everything. It has an ISN number. It also tells you the year of publication, like it is 1994 December. And it tells you a lot of other information also, like for example, TX for the printed text. So it is no longer commonly used, and it has basically gone into disrepute. The other thing which is very important is a DOI. You must have heard of a DOI. So everything which is on the web has a has a number which is a DOI, that is a digital object identifier. So that is for everything. So every journal article will also have a digital object identifier. So other thing which Dr. Hafiz has already talked about is a PubMed. He has talked about PubMed. So every article which is there in a PubMed has a PMID, that is a PubMed identifier. So let us look at this journal citation. So this is from the World Journal of Urology. It was published online in 2018. Of course, you know what are the volume and the issues and the pages which are there. So it has a PMID number, that is a PubMed identifier. This is the number. And then it also has a PMC identifier. What is PMC? Dr. Hafiz already told, it is basically a repertoire where all journals which have the free text available are located. So it has two numbers. One is a PMID number and one is a PMC ID number. So the other thing will be, what is its ISSN number? So the journal's ISSN number is, for print version, it is this, and for web, it is this. So there are different ISSN numbers for this journal, if it is a print or a web version. And as just to show you what is what do you understand by PMID, basically it is a PubMed identifier. The difference from PubMed Central is that PubMed Central has all full text repositories, and therefore that is a PMC identifier, that is the C comes in here. So this is what the windows look like for PubMed, and this is what it looks for PMC. So now we come to the topic of interest, that is a reference management software. So we have now understood that how a reference is identified. So it has a DOI number, it has a PMID number, it may or may not have a PMC ID number, and so on and so forth. So basically a reference management software is a database to enter a full bibliographic reference. It can generate a lot of lists of these articles in different formats. And one of the most important aspect of a reference management software is it can be integrated with word processors. Like if you're writing an article on Microsoft document, you can keep on entering and inserting your references in the document itself. And this is what is known as cite while you write. So that is what is very important if you are using a reference management software. And of course, it can also search references from online libraries. You can keep on importing references that you have searched in PubMed and then insert into your library. And then you can manage these references. You can make groups and subgroups, that I'll show you how you do it. So that is the importance of reference management software. And I recommend that everyone who is doing some kind of any kind of research, I should say, even if you're writing an MD project, a DM project, a small article, you should start using these reference management software. They are really very good for your day-to-day use, because it saves a lot of time. So that is very important. And then you can keep your references at one point and refer to them anytime. And of course, there is a long list of reference management software. This is all from Wikipedia. It tells you what are the different types of softwares. So the ones which I'll be talking about today is EndNote, which I commonly use. It is a paid software, but you also have other softwares which are absolutely free, and they are also as good as EndNote, something like Mendeley and also Zotero. So many of our colleagues are using Zotero and they find it quite useful. So this is just to show you the different logos that you have. The EndNote, the X9 is there. Then you have the Zotero app. I'll have to move this window. So in Zotero, you also have something which is relatively very new. That is known as Zotero Bib. And the difference with Zotero and Zotero Bib is, in Zotero, you'll have to download the software, of course, on your computer. But if you're doing a small article and you're not interested, you are already using some software and you're not interested to download Zotero, so you can use Zotero Bib. It gives you that bibliography for that article. It makes your bibliography and it makes your life easier, for at least for that point of time which you are using. So you don't need to download the whole of the software and use it on your computer, but you can use a smaller version, that is a Zotero Bib. It is, of course, like an online type of a thing, and it is always there. The other free software is Mendeley. So I've tried to summarize what are the differences. As of course, because I have not used all the three, so I'm not the best person to say that what is deficient and what is not. I've been using EndNote, and the EndNote is of course chargeable as compared to Mendeley and Zotero, which are free. Of course, you pay for extra storage whenever your storage is filled up. So EndNote is best for organizing references. It is good for quick format and reformat of references. It is also very good for accounting of systematic review. So you have a large number of articles and large number of references that you want to look at. So this is EndNote is really good. Sometimes Mendeley talks about that the PDF handling in Mendeley is relatively better. And of course, Zotero can also organize references, and it is also good for non-general material. So if you want to plug in, if you look at some websites or something, it automatically takes up into your account, so that you know what you have looked into, even on the Google. So that is why it is good for non-general material also. EndNote, what can improve is sometimes PDF handling, but as the newer versions are coming in, I have seen that PDF handling is also good. And of course, in Mendeley and Zotero, there may be a problem when you have a large number of articles and you want to do systematic reviews. So the number of citation styles are many. Even if they're not there at that point of time when you're working, there are many which can be downloaded. So I don't think that is a problem in any of these softwares. Uh, can it import from databases? And yes, it can import from databases. This direct import, I'm sorry, it will be for EndNote. So for EndNote, you must have seen that in EndNote, you can directly do it from the PubMed. So that also I'll show you how you can directly import all your references when you're looking and searching in the PubMed. What is common in these is what I've noted down, that is duplication detection, create bibliography with different styles, automatic citation extraction from PDFs. You can search full text, you can attach associated files and create group or shared libraries. So before I go on to the demonstration, this is just to tell you the Gmail. I think Dr. Anand has already typed the Gmail account on the chat box, and this is where you need to send your whatever assignments you have been given. So this is foundation at sgpgi@gmail.com. Okay, now we come on to the demonstration session. So what I'll do is I'll open a EndNote library, which I have made for demonstration purposes. So this is how this EndNote looks like. I hope it is visible on the screen, full screen. So this is what it looks like. I'll let you go through it. So these are the tabs that are there, and you have 3 panels here. So this is what it tells you. This is the file version. This is something which is known as an online search mode, where you can directly search in the PubMed. And as you see, as soon as I put it into the search mode, it asks me, where do you want to search? Do you want to search in the Library of Congress, the list of the PubMed, or Web of Science? And of course, you can have more options when you click on more. So you can directly go to PubMed. And once you go to PubMed, you can type your search options and it will take you there. The other option is where you have both. You have the file and you have the search both. So I can increase this panel of search here. And then I can, as soon as I put something here, it will start the search option. It was not active initially. As soon as I put something here, it has become active. So this is how you can, I'll show you how to put it, but let me tell you the panels first and then I'll come back to this. So this is how you can search directly from EndNote. The other way of importing your articles is, this is, sorry. So I want a, new tab, I have my PubMed. So what we can do is directly import our articles which we have searched in PubMed. So you can see this is my PubMed. I will also advise you to have a login for your PubMed so that your whatever you search remains there for some time. So when you come back, it is always there. So it becomes easier for you if you close at some point of time. So for example, I type something like I'm working on microparticles in IgA nephropathy. So I say search and it gives me articles that are 6 in number. So what do? I say send to, and you have clipboard, my bibliography collections, Dr. Hafiz has already told you. Then you have something known as a citation manager. So this is what we are talking about today. So we say go to citation manager and we say all results. It asks you whether you want all results or you want some of the results. You can say create file. It creates a file and asks you how do you do this. So you can say save file, but because my note is already open, I say open with and so I say okay. So what does it do? It takes all my articles from what I had searched on PubMed is all there. And now you can see that these are the imported references. So this is how you can keep on adding your references to your EndNote library. And you can, these of course references are temporary. As soon as I leave EndNote, they will be lost. So I can copy these and put it into the folders, into the groups, which I'll tell you now next. So the other way of importing your articles is, for example, you have certain PDFs which you think are very important and you would like it to be there on your EndNote library. So what you can do is you say file, you can say import. You can import file, you can import folder. Suppose I say import folder. It will ask you where is it located. I tell it that it is located on the desktop. So I have a folder named this renal transplant. I select this folder, I say okay, because I've said I want whole of the folder here. So I said okay. It will ask me whether you want to include files in the subfolders. I say yes. It will ask me PDFs. I say yes, import all. So you can import and then you say import. So now it will import the PDFs that I have in that folder. You see, it is importing. And the beautiful thing about this is, though I have just said that import this PDFs, do you see that all the information related to the article is also there? So you see that it is attached. It has an article name. The authors are there. The year is there, the name of the article and the journal and when it was last updated. So that is the importance of this, that you can import references from PubMed. You can search online on this EndNote. You can also import PDFs. Of course, PDFs will be imported only when they have a digital object identifier, which is associated with the PDFs, generally in the first 2 pages. And therefore, that EndNote can identify that article and then it can update it. So this is how you import your references. So this I was talking about the left side panel. The other thing which the left side panel has, the groups. So you can organize your references into groups. For example, I'm talking about IgA nephropathy, I'm talking about microparticles, I'm talking about monocytes. So what I can do is I can group my references into groups like monocyte, what is new which has come in, what did I see in PubMed, what are the reports, what is the work which has already been done in SGPGI. So it helps you make your references more organized and then go back to them whenever you want to go back to. So this is about the left panel in short. Let me also talk about the right panel. So something which is there in the layout, which is there if you see in the lower right corner, is a groups panel. So this was the groups panel in which you have these groups. And this is the reference panel in which you can have, this is generally placed at the right. Of course, if you want, you can put it at the bottom. And then if you want your layout, you can also say split. So what does that split do? It splits if you have a PDF attached to it. For example, I say select this article. So what can you see this? So this is a reference. It gives you all information about this reference from author, year, title, start page, everything, DOI. what are the keywords, and all, whether a PDF is attached or not, what is the address of the author, and gives me all sort of information that is there. It also tells me, yes, you have a PDF attached to it. And if I want to read the PDF this time, I can just open this PDF. It gives me a full screen of the PDF. You can see this. So you have the PDF there open for you. And the other thing which you can do is highlight the changes. For example, I want to highlight that this is important for me. I will like this article. I want to highlight that this is the author who has worked in it. Maybe I want to go back. So you can do this. You can annotate the PDF and you can save it. You can also insert your comments on this. So you have something which you can use as a sticky note where you want to say, so this is important. And then this article, once you have seen, you can just go back and it will be there. So you want to save these changes, we say yes. So these changes will be saved on this article. So whenever you go back to this article, you have your changes saved on this. So this is how you can change the layout. You can also do a bottom split. Some people like the bottom split so that you have full screen of the article that you are looking at, and you have the bottom article where you can look at the article details, and you can also have the, you can see whether the PDF is attached or not. So coming back to the right side, so if you have this reference panel, and of course in this reference panel, you can play around. You have a lot of options. You can say whether you want to view the reference, you want to have a preview of the article, just want the PDF to look at it. So you have multiple ways of doing and trying to do things here. So this is about the reference panel. Now we come on to the main panel, that is a preview panel, which has all the articles which have been listed here. So coming on to my earlier list. So if you see, some of the articles are in bold. Do you see them? And some of the articles are not bold. So these are the articles which have been read. So the ones you have read, it is not bold, and the ones you have not read are bold. So similarly, you can go to this article and then you can read about it, whether there is, you want to go to the article and look at it. There may be some articles in which you do not have the PDF. So when you download from the PubMed, some of them may not be freely available. What you can do is, you can go to this, you can select this article and say, find full text. So there are many ways in this for the same command. You can even do a right click and say find full text, or you can go to this and say find full text. So if you see in the left hand side panel, it has started searching for it. Either it will search or it will tell me that there are no PDFs for this article. Sometimes you have an article which has just come in the PubMed and you do not have the volume and the issue which is listed there. So at times you may be interested in going and finding out, is there any reference update? So that also you can do. You can say find reference updates, and it will try to find out the reference updates, and even it will tell you whether there are any updates or whether you want to update or not. So you see this. So it tells me that these are the available updates. This is my reference. So this is the update in print. Of course, the ISSN number is similar, but it also tells me that there is a DOI which is associated with this article. That is a digital object identifier. So what I can do is, I can say update all fields, or I can only update the empty fields. So it is my choice. So I can say update all fields, and now the PDF will be updated. So they are all updated. So that is how you can keep on changing and making changes to your reference and updating your reference also. So this article is still searching. We will see in a while what happens to this article, whether it is searched or not. So this is how you can play around and see. Sometimes you have an article which does not have a full text. If it has a link, you can just go to the link. So you can say connect when online database. You can go to the, so it does not have a link. So it does not have a DOI. So it cannot be linked. Sometimes an article has a link, then you can go to that link and then that link becomes active. So if, for example, this article has a link, it does not have a full text, but it has a link. So I can go to, if you see, open link. So as soon as I go to that open link, it will take me to that web page where the article is there, and it will you can go to that web page and then look at the articles, or you can look at other associated articles. So it is opening the web. So this is an article in the American Journal of Kidney Diseases, and it tells me where this article is located and whether I do have some access or not to this article. So coming on to my EndNote library. So this is how you can manage your articles and your references and keep it in the PubMed. The other option which is available, so let me decrease this screen and show you that you can have your ribbon according to your will. So you can increase or decrease the number of things that you want to show in this. So you have a whole list of things that can be seen. So you can have a read or unread status, the author, year, title, journal, secondary title, what is the date, what is the rating, what is the record number that you want to keep, who's the secondary author, what is the reference type, volume, everything can come on one page. So depending upon what you want to do, you can try to put it in your list of references. I can also have options in which I want to customize something. So I want to have a custom type of a list, that also I can do. So this is how you can manage your preview of your articles and put it on your EndNote. The other thing which it can do, so is that it can have an online library. So you can maintain an online library, and every time if you have an online library, you can sync your desktop library with your online library. And that online library with your username and your password, you can access anywhere you go. So that is how you can sync it. So this is your syncing for sync library, so that you go and sync your library. You can also share your library with people who are already using EndNote. So this is how you share your library, sync your library, and keep your references here. So if, okay, so we do have some time. So I'm coming back to the something which is known as a groups. The other thing which you can do is you can make groups, as I told you earlier. So you can create groups. So if I want, I can create a group and say I want to have these. So the ones I have imported today, I want to say these are imported references which have to be added. So what I do is I open these imported references which I have imported. And if you clearly see, the ones which I had imported from PubMed have vanished. Why? Because that was a temporary library. So whenever I do something new, it will be taken up. So these were the references which I picked up from my folder. So I can even say and send it to, or I can just pick them up and send it to uh, somehow it is not taking up. So I say add reference to imported references. So now this becomes my something which becomes permanent in my library. So I may decide to delete it later. So that is how you can keep on managing your references. The other thing which you can do is, if you go to groups, you can do something like this is how you create a group. As I told you, you can create group from my groups. You can go to this tab and create a group. You can also make a smart group. What does it do, smart group? It goes to the PubMed and then it searches for your articles and then makes that as your PubMed search group. So that is how it makes a new smart group. The other thing which you can do is you can go and create from groups. That is, you have something which is like a new group. So I say you want something about monocytes, but which is not IgA. I don't want something which is already there in my IgA group. I just want something which is on monocytes, but it is not from IgA. So what do? I make new group. I go to select a group. I say monocyte, but what I need is not IgA. So don't take it from something which is already there in my IgA group. So that is what I do, and I say create. So then it makes something like, so it tells you that that is making a new smart group which is monocytes, but which is not an IgA nephropathy. So basically you can have your way and you can make your own groups. So it has included 27 of the 28 references. Only one which was there, which was not there, which was there in IG and nephropathy, and others were not common. So now you have a group of 27 references with you. So that is how you can play around and have your groups and use them. And similarly, you can use your references, read them online, read them on your EndNote, annotate them. And now the next important thing, which is very important for these softwares, is how do you cite and write. So this is something which is very important. That is a toolbar shows you how do you cite when you write. So this will be what we'll be talking about next. So there are two ways. One of is you open your document. Suppose I have a document which is open. So now you have a document. This is again talking about something. I say I want to include a reference here. So what do I do if I remember the name of the author? What I can do is I can go here. If you see, it gets integrated with the Microsoft document. So here you can see this is my tab for EndNote X9. So I go to EndNote X9. I can go and say insert citation. I ask to insert citation. It is taking a while. So I think it is hanging. Just a minute. Because there are a lot of things which are open, I will have to close some of my, so let me close this. So this was the EndNote thing. So this, now it has opened. So now you have something, as soon as I had said insert citation, it goes to insert citation. And now I type, suppose this is something like, I want to look for a writer with the name of Zoo. So I say Zoo and you say find. So it has tried to find some of the articles in which he is the author. So now I say, no, I want this article. So I say, this is the article which I need. I have an option. It will tell me the details of that reference. It will also tell me what do you want to display it as. And you can select from this list what you want to display it as. I say insert. And now it will insert the reference here. So this reference has been inserted here. And now if you go down the list, you have your reference listed here. So that is how it keeps on managing your references. And so for example, I put in a reference here also. So again, I put in a reference here. I go to EndNote. I say insert citation. And then I say some other article, some other. So for example, I want this one to come. This is the author this is the article which has to come here. So again, it will go and include it there. It has closed the document. I don't know why. Okay, so so it did not sync. So it doesn't matter. So you have this EndNote, and then you have this insert citation. So we had inserted this, so we found it. We inserted this one. You said inserted, and it was lying there. Uh, So no, it is, there is, so okay, let me try once again. There is a problem with, so I say this one and I insert. Okay, so this is closing again and again. So you can insert your documents, your references into your Microsoft Word, and you can keep on adding them. So it will give you a list at the end. As I showed you, it will give you a list, and as they appear in your document, there is a list that appears. There is a list which appears and keeps on appearing in the references which are there. The other thing which you can do in EndNote is change. So you can go either from there, or you say that you want to include this reference. So you select a reference, for example, this, and then you say that you have to go to the word processor. So as soon as you go to the word processor, it will, wherever your, so you go to the word and say that you insert. So it inserts the reference here. I'm not sure why it is behaving like this, but maybe it has a lot of data which has come in its perspective. So it is opening it again and again and then opening it. Okay. So, okay. So this was about, this is, so you can enter your reference from the software itself, or you can go to site, go to the document and then insert your references and it takes it. So that is how you keep on adding your references when you cite. And the other thing is, when you move your paragraph, suppose you move one paragraph to another, it will remove your reference numbers, and so that they are formatted again and they are again placed as 1 2 as they appear in the text. So that is how you can keep on changing the number of your references and cite them when you have them. The other thing which can be done in this is, when you cite your references, you can have a style that you can add to your references. So for example, journal says that you have to have your references in a style which is the annals of the oncology style. The other one says that you want to have it in the American Journal of Pathology style. So you can, as soon as you select your style, the references in the document change. So that is how you can keep on updating your style. So sometimes you send a article to a journal, it doesn't get accepted, you go back and then decide to send it to another journal. The style of the reference may be different in that journal. So then you can change the style and then it will do it automatically. So though you don't need to go to that formatting and then do it yourself manually, it does it automatically. So that is the beauty of using these management softwares, and you can do that. You can do this with this. So this is about what you do with site while you write. How do you make your bibliography? You can format your bibliography. So you can say which output style do you want. So I can say I want the American Journal of Pathology style, or it tells you that these are the number of styles which are available. If you're sending an article to Lancet, you say I want to do it as a Lancet style. Or you can even browse and tell it what, there are large number of thousands of styles which are available on the net and which are available in the EndNote also. So you can go and say that these are the different styles which are available, and you can just select one of the styles and then say okay, and it will select that style for you. So you can play between different styles and use it for referencing your softwares. So you're referencing, you're managing your references, sorry. So this was about how do you do this. This is, EndNote is something which is a paid software. So, but you also have softwares like Zotero and Mendeley, which are absolutely free. And we have one of our colleagues from the department, Dr. Raghavendra, who has been using Zotero for quite some time. And I have requested him to demonstrate something on this free software for the interest of our students who may not like to get the paid software. So it becomes easier for them to use it. So I will move on to Dr. Raghavendra to share his screen. But before that, I will like to ask you if you have any questions. Maybe once you have seen this, you may have some questions later on. You can write to me, and if you face any difficulty about using this software, even if you use Zotero and you have faced any problem related to the references, the type of references, how do you manage them, you can just write to me or Dr. Raghavendra. My email ID is vinita@sgpgi.ac.in. So this was to show you in brief what are the things that can be done with these reference softwares. So do we have Dr. Raghavendra there? So I can stop my screen sharing and then I can ask Dr. Raghavendra to share his screen. Do we have any comments from our listeners so that we can answer it just now, or we can go at the end and answer them?